Despite the launch of the MetaQuest 3, the MetaQuest 2 still has a lot of mileage, and players will love checking out the many racing games that support this system and make the most of this immersive medium. Stepping into the shoes of the driver and zooming past opponents at ridiculous speeds is something that fans will definitely appreciate. Welcome to Game Rant, everyone. I'm Bilal, and here's our picks for the 5 best racing VR games for the MetaQuest 2. At number 5, Zed Show. Zed Show combines vehicular combat and driving in a neat little package. Toss in some zombies, and the result is an awesome and unique racer. This title is bound to be a great time for players who want to check out a casual but action-packed VR game. Players drive one of many vehicles that are kitted out with a wealth of weapons and innovations, making it perfect to use during a zombie apocalypse. The game has a pretty bizarre setting, structuring itself as a reality show where players are encouraged to mow down as many zombies as possible. It's a simple yet great game that is perfect for people who own a MetaQuest 2. Taking fourth, Driven. Driven is a great first-person racing game that players can check out on the MetaQuest 2 for a relatively painless and engaging racing experience. The game operates in the simcade genre, meaning that players can enjoy all the fun that one can enjoy from an arcade experience, while also engaging with relatively realistic driving models and mechanics to have the best of both worlds. Players can start against relatively weaker opposition before becoming more adept and racing against tougher AI. Both automatic and manual transmission can be messed about with in the game, allowing players to increase their skill level while slowly getting used to this form of VR racing, eventually allowing them to completely decimate the opposition regardless of how adept they may be at racing. Taking third, Dart Racer. Despite being nothing more than a demo at this stage, Dart Racer has already wowed players with its focus on fast-paced racing in a sci-fi setting that is as engaging as it can get. Players love the idea of sitting in the seat of what essentially looks like a pod racer, zooming across a wealth of imaginative stages and landscapes. Most players can't wait to see how the full release of this game will blow their minds, with Dart Racer already bringing many new and impressive ideas to the table. Fans can only hope that the game features enough content to justify a purchase, especially with most VR games being short and bare bones experiences that disappoint many fans. Taking silver, Vesper Cup. Another early access VR racing game that deserves its time in the spotlight, Vesper Cup certainly brings a fair share of innovation to VR racing games by not focusing on road racing like the majority of titles out on the market. Instead, the focus is more on sailing activities, much to the joy of players seeking out something different. With enough time in the oven, Vesper Cup could potentially be that killer game that convinces more people to give this headset a shot. And taking the top spot, Little Witch Academia VR Broom Racing. Racing games aren't categorized by many as cozy experiences, so it's nice to see how relaxing Little Witch Academia VR Broom Racing is despite placing a focus on racing through levels on a broomstick. The gameplay loop is already somewhat unique and will convince players to give this game a shot. While it's true that this game's gameplay elements aren't all that deep or refined, it's the presentation and fun factor of this title that seals its reputation as one of the most underrated gems on the Meta Store. It's a fun title that players can take some quick trips in if they want a break from serious VR offerings. And those are our picks for the 5 best racing VR games for the MetaQuest 2. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.